I have dragons. I'll give you one.
Welcome back to Heroes and Whiskey. We are 3D printing our way through the D&D Monster Manual. We have officially entered the dragon portion of the manual, and we're going to be here for a while. And today we are looking at this awesome black dragon from Lord of the Print. I mentioned this in the last episode, but we are only printing gargantuan ancient dragons. So all we're doing is we are looking for the best dragon that we can find that captures the spirit of the dragon in the manual. And in this case, Lord of the Print has really outdone themselves. They actually call him a dark dragon, and there's a link in the description. This guy is definitely the largest monster that we've printed to date, and he's probably my favorite out of the 60 plus that we've printed so far. Not only because he embodies the sinister nature and bad attitude of Black Dragon, but also because I was able to print him 100% from base to wings on my FDM printer. And not one of those new fancy high-speed Core XY printers, but on a lowly 3-year-old Ender 3. With the frame slightly misaligned, and the build plate is definitely overworked, and that is currently a $170 printer, and this dragon still came out amazing. The Black Dragon absolutely has to have one of the best monster descriptions in the manual. You get phrases like, they collect the wreckage and treasure of fallen people. They stand apart for their sadistic nature, living to watch their prey beg for mercy, and of course striking at the weakest enemy first. So now there are always going to be issues when you print something like this with FDM. There's pretty obvious layer lines you can see here in some of the spikes, and definitely on the rock formation. As I mentioned in the Shadow Dragon episode, there are many of these dragons where the rock formation is actually a pretty cool piece on its own, and so if you need something like that for your adventure, you don't necessarily have to glue the dragon to its base. You can also see here his right claw didn't quite survive the printing, and I wouldn't really call any of these points sharp. But on the flip side, the seams are really, really tight, and they're all but invisible. So would I enter this guy in the painting contest? No, absolutely not. But you could 100% slap chop this up and have it be the awesome and terrifying final confrontation for your party. In terms of size, you can see it's just like bonkers, ridiculously tall. I mean, the dragon is already 10, 12 feet off the ground. It's a little hard to judge exactly how big he is supposed to be. It's got to be at least 70 to 80 feet from tail to head and across the wingspan. I mean, you can see I can't even fit the entire wingspan into photograph. It is just that big. So in terms of resources, it only costs $20, which is honestly fantastic for a figure of this caliber. But what really gets you is the print time. Like I said, I did this all FDM, so obviously that's going to take a bit longer. It was a bit of an experiment to see if it could be done, and you know what? It could be done. But that total print time for every single piece was up around 67 hours. So now our total cost is $572 US, and our total time has been bumped up way over 16 days. So if you need a black dragon, this dark dragon from Lord of the Print is really just beautifully done. It's a fantastic model, and it printed fantastic even on an FDM printer. Next up, we've got the most vain of all the dragons, the blue dragon.